Nigeria improves by 4 ranking in the new Economic Forum survey of the Global Gender Gap for 2019. IMF approves $368 million loan to Congo, the first since 2012 to meet urgent balance of payment needs. And Zambia approves cannabis exports to boost economy. Thank you for joining us and welcome to Business Incorporated. I'm Chimezi Obi Iwagu. Well, the numbers coming from the major markets we track here in Africa were mixed at intraday. Here in Nigeria, the all-share index turned negative with a 0.05% decline at about midday. On the other hand, the JSE index in South Africa is maintaining the positive momentum with a 1.25% jump at intraday. The EGX 30 in Egypt also saw strong gains of 1.27% at intraday. The Kenya bourse, however, closed 0.59% in the red on Monday. And it's all looking good in the Middle East despite Saudi Aramco's 0.3% loss in early trade after 4 straight days of gains. The state-owned oil company is expected to join the MSCI today. Looking at the numbers, the Abu Dhabi index was up 0.39%, while the Dubai index was close to 1% higher, also at intraday. The Qatari index posted the strongest gains in the Gulf region at intraday with over 1%, while the Saudi Tadawul index was also up 0.39%. And in Europe, stocks traded lower in the morning as caution returned following a worldwide rally on the back of a Phase 1 U.S.-China trade deal. There are lots of corporate news as well driving trading in Europe today, but let's check the big picture first with Conrad. Hello, Conrad. Good afternoon. Good to have you back on the show.
Good afternoon, Timmy, and hi to everyone in Nigeria.
So what's the mood like in Frankfurt the day after your mid-cap index, the MDAX, reached a record high, and many smaller capitalized companies also marked top valuations? Is it going further up?
No, it's not. Look at this. This is the large cap index, DAX. It's down. And also in terms of the mid caps and the smaller capitalized companies, investors are taking a bit of a breather today. You know, the factors which drove demand on the equity markets yesterday and at the end of last week, this Phase 1 deal between the Americans and the Chinese, we're still lacking details. We still don't know enough about this. We heard the announcement, we heard the confirmation by the Trump administration, but, you know, we don't know what exactly it contains and when, you know, this Phase 1 deal will get into effect. And also today the trade surplus of the euro area vis-à-vis the United States was updated. It's increased quite significantly, and that makes a few people here worried that an old topic, one of the favorite topics of the US President Donald Trump, might soon return. Of course, the European trade surplus is a trade deficit for the United States, something that Donald Trump really doesn't like. So that, you know, makes a few people here concerned.
Boeing, of course, is making big headlines with the production start for the 737 MAX airplane. What about Airbus? How much is the European plane maker profiting from the problems of its large American rival?
There have been a few cases when orders for Airbus A320 planes were confirmed, which had been in the pipeline but had not been confirmed yet. And it was reported that the problems at Boeing made the clients of Airbus more determined to really buy those A320 planes. But overall, it has to be said, the potential for Airbus to limit from the problems that Boeing has to profit from them are limited. The amount of production that the E320 is in is really at a full capacity. You know, Airbus at the moment is producing and delivering around about 50 A320 planes a month. And there's a backlog of 6,000 planes. So Airbus is not simply in the position to be able to increase its production capacity quickly, so it doesn't really profit from the situation at Boeing.
Let's look at the protest in France, which is about huge pension reform. Now, the country is seeing its 13th day of strikes. How much of a problem can this really become?
You know, economists are very hesitant to give out exact numbers for this. It seems that calculating the effect of strikes on an economy is very difficult. Economists don't really have useful models for this. This is why the concentration is on the discussion about this and about how much harm this strike and, you know, the dispute about pension reforms in France can have for the French government, the government of President Macron. You know, yesterday, the man who invented this ambitious pension reform for the French president had to step down, Jean-Paul Delevoye. He had to leave his post because he failed to report side jobs. He failed to disclose those side jobs. And that is a perfect reminder for many average French people how detached, parts of its government really are. The French elite, this elitist idea of, people knowing what's good for the people despite what the people want, that is an old discussion going on in France. And this, of course, is being reinforced by events like this. And this is the kind of stuff people I talked to were saying that make or unmake the success of an ambitious pension reform. This is going to be a very important topic looking forward into the year 2020.
Well, thank you, Conrad, for updating us on those. Enjoy the rest of the day.